Hello and welcome to the Here For It podcast with Chris
and Melissa.
We're two sisters that are here to bring you real and relatable topics that we hope will inspire you,
cause you to think, laugh, and grow.
If you hear something you like, please remember to like, subscribe, and share.
And now, let's get into today's topic.
What's up, y'all? Because it's Black History Month and the month of love, we're bringing you a super special episode celebrating Black love, and we have brought our husbands to the show. So take some time to listen in to part one. We hope you're here for it.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Evie.
What?
With the brunch club?
Yes, that's good. All right, y'all. Welcome to the Here For It podcast with Chris.
And I'm Melissa.
Y'all see the smiles, the blushiness.
Yes, this is special.
It's a special day. We have our husbands on the show. Finally, it's been a long time coming.
We finally got them to agree.
We had to wait till we got to season, 4, 3, whatever season.
We had to make sure it was going to be successful.
See?
Well,
but they are
The husbands
here.
had to talk first.
Right. To make sure that this podcast was worthy of your appearance.
We talked and we decided that
right.
we would.
Yes, it's cool. Yeah. So we are so happy to have y'all here.
Yeah.
As you guys know, we have been promoting Wife University. And I know, this was Melissa's brainchild, right? Melissa would explain and share that, she would have conversations with her husband and be like, well, ain't nobody teach me. I ain't go to wife school. And then for me, I would complain and say there's a Bible verse that says, let the older women teach the younger women about how to be wives, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, and ain't nobody teach me nothing.
Yeah.
And so, those two thought processes came together. Wife school was birthed. We both had some challenges in our marriages, and so we feel that God has well equipped us to teach and talk on the subject.
Yeah, I
agree. Now we want to get just the male perspective about what men need, right?
We can talk about ourselves, what we feel that we think being a good wife is, and what we want that to look like, and definitely from what the Bible says, but we have our husbands here who can tell us firsthand about their experiences and what they think, and really share not only from our experiences, but to help other men and other women just kind of see a different perspective.
Yeah, we want to hear from the male perspective.
We want to hear from you all. What do you think?
We do. All right, so before we get started, before we get too deep, we're just going to play a game, the couples game. I think it's like 13 or 14 questions. So as this lady says the questions, we will point, and let's see which couple wins.
Okay.
We won. I know. All right, here we go.
Who's more likely to start the arguments? Who has the better style? Who's most likely to cry in public? Who's most likely to get arrested? Who's most likely to fall asleep first? Who's most likely to write a love poem? Who's most likely to laugh at a funeral? Who's the best kisser? Who's most likely to accidentally kill someone?
Me.
Who's most likely to join the military?
I think we disagree once.
We had it.
What was it about?
It was who is most likely to I forget.
Was it crying?
No, it wasn't crying in public. I forget.
Who did y'all pick for crying in public?
Me.
You?
Yeah.
Pick me. We disagreed. I said him.
be crying all the time at church.
Babe.
All the time. Listen, sermon.
I've never seen Crystal cry.
Yeah.
I don't cry. I'm a thug. I don't cry.
Crystal cries. Yeah, her tears freeze up real quick. When they come out.
She's scared.
They turn it to crystals. That's what
I like
it is.
that. I like that because they know they shouldn't have never been there.
They shouldn't have came out. No, I will cry.
I've never been able to contain
No.
any emotion that I have.
It's because
especially laughter.
It's because if somebody starts, you know what they're thinking, and you just keep thinking about it, and you laugh.
It's certain people you can't be around. Ron said we had this one friend. It's just certain. I can't be around this man or my son Jalen.
Be
or
cracking
Micah.
up.
Our whole family is
It's
a problem.
mommy.
Mommy is the worst.
She the worst.
Yeah, she'll have you
She's
cracking
the
up.
worst.
Hilarious.
Oh, she loves to laugh. She
Yeah.
does. Okay, that was fun. So let's get into it. I guess I'm just going to throw out some questions and we'll just give both of you men, husbands, an opportunity to answer from the male perspective, okay?
For sure.
So we're here to listen.
We are here to listen. I think the first question would be, what is a helpmeet to you?
So I'm a word person, and I like finding the purpose in the words in real life. So a helpmeet to me is somebody that's going to help you meet your goals, help me meet where I lack. Like you're literally helping me in everything that I need help in, whether it be through word or deed. It's literally like that thing, and I think that's what I think that's the description to me, because men come out with so many things that we are like wired to be, you know, but then there's this other side, like, oh, I didn't know I was supposed to be soft. I didn't know I didn't know these other things. Like every time you give me something, it helps me meet being more like a man or being more of a man, you know, or a better father. So I think that's what it means to me. It's like you're helping me meet things.
Okay.
Do you find that men really need a helpmeet, or do you feel like I can stand alone, or do you think that it's necessary?
I think there's a certain part of your life as a man that you go through where you're solidifying who you are, and then you can no longer take it any further. So that woman that, you know, you find, which, you know, the Bible talks about, he who finds a wife finds a good thing and finds favor with God. When you find that woman, then she helps you actually grow to this next level. You don't reach that next level without her, to me, because it's impossible to be a husband by yourself. You know, I mean, there are single fathers,
Right.
but we're talking about like what we need. I do think on the other side of things, you look at nature, you need a mate, you know. There's so many examples in the lifestyle of nature to me where it shows like, this is the function of the woman. This is the function. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What say you?
Well, the same exact sentiments. I mean, just to piggyback on that, a helpmeet, in my opinion, is a woman that understands her assignment, and that varies from each individual marriage.
Okay.
The whole idea of a helpmeet started, like Talton said, in the garden when Adam looked around and saw almost everything in nature had a companion. And when you, as a man, reality says we can do it without a woman.
Yeah.
But that's why the Bible says if you find a wife or if you find a helpmeet, you find a good thing.
Right.
That's the reward.
Yeah.
The reward is, I don't have to work so hard. I got some help.
Yeah. Yeah.
So a helpmeet comes and makes it easier. It
Okay.
should.
Yeah.
It's supposed to make it easier. It's
Yeah.
a reward for the work that a man already has put in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In proving that I could do this by myself.
Right.
And I've been a good steward over my money, my time, my profession, my purpose, my calling.
Yeah.
So the reward is now you got some help.
Yeah.
Now you got forever help.
I like that. I like that.
Good thing.
I have a question. So, Talton, you said that a helpmeet can help a man meet his goals. Can a helpmeet help if a man doesn't know what his goals are? Does a man have to have goals first, or have, you know, whatever his vision is established so I can come in and help you? Or do you think a woman needs to even help you figure out what that is? Not you per se, but men in general.
I like that question because I feel like it's all about it's all about it. You can take it a different way, but I would say that a helpmeet can help you meet that as well, because y'all are wired different. Like women, the way that y'all think, sometimes I feel like the intuitiveness is used for evil, where it's like I want to catch you up on something or do. But the thing that y'all have that for is because y'all can predict the future by word and deed. You tell us what we can accomplish and we can go do it now. You say what you see in us and we're like, I can see it too. You know what I mean? So,
or bro, sometimes a man will see in his woman, his wife, a certain potential in her that makes him want to go even harder to make her dreams come true. So sometimes I don't think it's advisable, but sometimes you will find your purpose in your wife.
yeah.
So or at least a piece of your purpose. Well, not your entire purpose.
Well, I think just because we're believers, we're all believers here, like the whole story of everything is always what a man is about to do for a woman. Even
Always,
in the Bible.
every movie in the Bible.
Yeah, our whole situation is based off of the church being a woman. You know what I mean?
Right.
So God is coming
is.
back for his bride.
Right.
He's doing all of this for his bride. So a lot of what our purpose is, I tell Crystal this often, like at times when we were at odds, I would feel like I had no purpose. Like I work for you. I do these different things that I'm doing for you. So when we're at odds, it's like I don't got no function no more. You know what I'm saying? Where is my, so especially after marriage, I would say in a relationship prior to marriage, you can always be like, oh, you know what? I'm good all by myself. Because you're really focused on you. But when you get married and you become one, and your other person is over in the corner and you over here, it's like, no, I'm not whole. You know what I mean? So I definitely feel like a woman can help a man who has been aimless. If you saw value to marry a man and make him your other half and allow him to be in your life, then you definitely can help him reach those goals. Goals.
Okay.
Definitely.
I receive that. I mean, I hear a lot of women saying, I don't want to have to build
I was
a
just
man.
gonna say that.
Go ahead, expound on it.
But a lot of women will say, well, you need to be where you are because I'm not babysitting. I'm not your mother. I'm not. But I think that's kind of the wrong attitude. I mean, it could be that case in some situations. You know what I mean? It could be.
Yeah.
But if you have the right man and the man in God and you've done your homework and you do your due diligence on your selection or your mate, then it should be your desire, or it may be easier to make it your desire to be his helpmeet.
And to know that that's your function.
That's your function.
That's literally why you were made.
Yeah.
It's to help.
Yeah, women were created to help. And if you're dating, if you're looking to, take it to the next level, how does the young lady that you're with, how does she handle being asked to do something for you? How does she handle an assignment? You know what I mean? Like, does she take joy in helping you? If so, man, it might be worth pursuing.
I think I like where this is going, because when we talk about created for, when you go back to sin and the origin of it, sorry. My mom's from the islands, so I say a couple things wrong.
Hey, what Boosie say? Economy. You know what I'm saying? Economy. Put the wrong emphasis on the syllable.
That dude was like, that man to say economy, please. Economy.
Right.
We're going to do our own economy.
Right.
Sorry, go.
Yeah, but no, when you look at sin and where it started in the Bible, man was cursed and woman was cursed.
Right.
And so
different curses, though.
different curses.
Yeah.
So here's where God's genius is in talking about this helpmeet situation. So woman got the curse, labor pains.
Yes.
And periods as well.
Yeah, and she said your something will be to your husband. Your
your
desire will be
You
to
got
your
that wrong,
husband.
though.
Yeah, we need to talk
But
about
listen,
what
hold on.
Okay,
Before we go there, the man's curse was what?
work by the sweat and thorns
The
and
ground would-
thistles.
yeah,
It
the
wouldn't
ground
get
would be
easily.
easy.
Right.
Yeah.
He said he will rule.
So here it is when we look at helpmeet and we look at man. Our struggle literally is to find purpose, because guess what? When we're planting seeds, we're thinking like, man, this thing is supposed to grow. We're frustrated. It's not showing,
Not giving
year
easily.
after year, it's not giving easy. So it looks like we ain't got no purpose. Most of the time, oh, you lazy, you ain't trying to work. No, we working our behinds off.
Trying to figure it out.
Trying to figure out. But along comes a woman to help me who does not have that same curse.
Right.
So here it is. God has given y'all by default this situation where the ground does give easy.
Yeah.
Y'all can earn. At one point in time when me and Crystal were married, and I think it's still this way, so to speak, but the black woman was like the most educated and they were just rising.
high
They were
earners.
highest earning in corporate America.
Yeah.
And so, but then you looked at the black man and they were saying, oh man, well, the man ain't being her equal.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? The man doesn't have the same curse. We were given this. So
Right.
when
It's
you
harder
have
for
this
you
woman,
guys.
Crystal was earning while I was learning. You know what I'm saying? Like she was earning. I'm being honest. Like a lot of my career got crazier on the back end versus the front. We
Right.
didn't have the same earning potential at all. But you know what I was working on, those seeds I was planting now took root, and now she was able to work with me and we were able to move. But she didn't have that same curse, and it allowed her to help me while we were working. I think that's a conversation that should be had too with a lot of people in relationships. They're always looking at it like, oh, I want a man to come ready with this. I want a man to come ready.
Yeah.
But when I got with Crystal, God broke me back down so that it could be a way where we learned and grew together. Otherwise,
Yeah, that's where where we
otherwise,
are. Yeah.
I can leave with my stuff. She can leave with her stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not that way at all. So I think that that's just something that we don't speak enough on in this day, is that there's curses on the man just like it is on a woman.
I think that God has a way of showing you why and how much you need each other.
Yeah.
And, that's a good example of it. That was,
Yeah. No, I
think that's
completely
great.
agree. I completely agree.
That was good.
This is a true or false question, guys. True or false, Steve? The husband is responsible for the emotional well-being of his family.
True.
Tell me why,
Yeah.
and then I'm going to ask you, Tal.
Well, so if the husband is the head of the, so I look at it like this: the husband was given headship. Headship doesn't mean I rule over. It just means if we fall flat on our face, I take the responsibility.
Correct.
That means and I think I got this from talking to you a couple weeks ago, and it was good. But it's we have dominion, but we're not dominant. You know what I mean? But we have dominion. So that means that how we set the tone, how we move, so should everything else. Like the body can't go where the head doesn't go. So if we set the tone, we set the emotional tone, the spiritual tone, we set the financial we should. And if you're not, you better pray that your wife knows how to do it until you can learn.
But that comes from the help me piece, you know, like saying, I want my husband to be able to do this, this, and that. But maybe he wasn't given the tools or the resources to be able to do that, or the upbringing to be able to lead in a way that he should lead. But if you are his helpmeet and if you are his wife, then that is it's not your responsibility, but it should be your desire. And it should be your position to help get him to the place that he needs to be.
Okay.
I think women multiply things.
Yeah.
Multiply. So if there is any sort of thing in your husband that says, I want to be that, just keep treating him right. Just keep praying for him. Keep being there for him. Keep being his help. And he'll come around.
That's a good one.
Yeah. I heard a pastor say help produces double. You know, when you have help, it produces double. But Melissa, I also wanted to say, and then I want to come to you with that same question. I like that you keep saying, as a wife, if it is your desire, or it should be your desire.
It should be your desire.
I don't know, it hits different. Like you want to do this. You know what I'm saying? Not like, okay, it's my job, so I got to do it. You know, but this is what I desire for myself, for my husband, for my family. I like that.
It was a mind change for me.
Yeah.
Because not getting married and not knowing how to be a wife.
Yeah.
And not going to wife school, which I took a year to take the time to wife you. It wasn't my desire. It was duty. It was like, okay, all right, you're supposed to cook.
Yeah.
You're supposed
Checklist.
to check. Take care of the kids, check. You're supposed to make sure, your husband has this. It was a checklist for me.
Yes.
Because I did not know how to do it from my heart and desire. And it wasn't that I didn't want to please my husband.
Right.
It was just that it wasn't a desire. But coming back into my marriage the second time around, it is a desire of mine. It is a desire for me to see him succeed, for me to do whatever I can. I look forward to making him happy.
Let me help you.
Yeah, let me do it. You sit down, I have it. I got it.
Yeah.
Where you lack.
Yeah.
It's
That's
like we
good.
turned on at the same time.
Yeah.
And it just does nothing but feed the other person.
Yeah,
good.
So it's a mindset.
It is a mindset.
It's a mindset, and it's a heart change,
Yes.
and that's what we have to get out, ladies.
Different heart
Get out of that
posture.
culture of I'm not doing that,
Yes.
and start to have that desire to be better.
So the one of your words for today is desire.
Desire.
All right, babe. So same question for you. A husband is responsible for the emotional well-being of his family. True or false?
I would say it's true.
right.
I think younger is a mature version of myself would say like, oh, moms, because
Right.
you feel like your love and your softness and all the emotions come from your mom, and when you don't have that, then you're like, man, But I would say that setting the tone, what your dad does sets the tone. It's like nothing changed in the garden until Adam sinned. That's when everything changed. Like the woman did it.
Right.
When Adam did it, he did it.
The
Did
guy
it.
can call him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
responsible.
He can't
So
find
it
him.
was
Where
like
you at?
my
Like,
my
God,
mom and
get
dad,
him.
like they were going through what they was going through, but when he left,
Yeah.
it changed everything.
Yeah.
It changed everything. It set the tone for who else could come in our lives and treat us however they wanted, how other people talked to us in church and responded to us, laughter, whatever. It set the whole tone. And so that affected our emotional, well-being. Like
Yeah.
it definitely affected everything. So yeah, it's the dad for sure.
Okay. So I'm glad to know that you guys are there. So now I have another question, and it comes. We're going to play this
setup.
short video. Yes, I definitely set y'all up. No, listen. So there's a video that's going around. A pastor friend that we know, his name is Myron Edmonds, and he played a video actually of a woman, and this woman is saying, hey, it is not safe for men to express feelings of depression. So their depression translates into anger instead of depression, because it's easier for a man to, the testosterone, just to be angry and to come across that way versus sitting around being depressed. Oh, woe is me.
Right.
Because people will say,
Eating
well,
ice
that's,
cream.
yeah, eating ice cream and under the cover. No, that's what women do,
Right.
So if you guys have those feelings, you have to mask them with anger, right? So I guess my question is, do you guys agree or disagree with that? Have you experienced that? And how has that helped or not helped in terms of the emotional well-being of your
Dangerous
family?
for our men. Because men are more likely to fight their way from depression to anger. Because depression is not a good look on a brother. That's how we say, that's what we think. And so while people will accept us as women kind of laying back and, oh, it's me, and they think there's something feminine about that, and it's not, it's still depression. But our cultural perspectives don't accept that from men. So depression can hide among women with social stereotypes about them being emotional, but it can't hide with men because it'll look weak. So he has to fight his way up off of that depressed couch. And the only energy he can use to defend himself against your attacks on his masculinity is to fight his way out of depression into a fury. And here we are, with our men dropping like flies, with life expectancies at the bottom levels in this country. Because anger is literally shredding their bodies and their immune systems and their productivity, which is also so related to how many men define themselves. So if anger is snatching both their productivity and their physical strength, gosh, we got to do something.
I think that's common. I think we handle things differently. Like what she's saying in the video is that women handle it this way, men handle it that way. And depression does come out in fury. I mean, there's times where you sit and you're in something for so long that the next phase of that thing is outburst. You know, like, oh, you've been dealing with something for so long that now it's turned into this, because we're not wired the same way that y'all are. You know, some of us shut down. You know, that's part of. You know, I'm a creative, so creatively I shut down. I'm not productive. That's what she mentioned as well. But then you get talked about for that too. So it's not just that.
It adds on to the
correct,
depression.
and it adds on to the fury and the anger lash out. So it's not just that. Oh, I went into a depression and now this is going to evolve into anger. No, it's what you get on top of being depressed and the treatment that is, you're not man enough, you know, you're not this, you're not handling business, you're not, that is like, you're not acknowledging my depression, you're acknowledging the result of my depression, but I'm also experiencing being pushed deeper into it. So now here comes this anger or this outburst.
Okay, before you give your answer on that, so this is my question. Are you saying that men, because we're just speaking for men in general, that men come and say, hey wife, hey girlfriend, hey mother, I am depressed, and it is not, or is it that men already feel like we can't say this? So if we're not with a woman that is wise enough to discern it, we ain't gonna say nothing, we don't feel safe saying anything, or do you not feel safe about it because of a bad experience that may have either started in childhood or in that relationship?
I just think that personally, you know, because I can't speak for all men in the world,
right.
But I would say personally, I don't think that it's a situation where you have to like feel like I'm not going to say anything about it. Certain things you just feel like it's your job to handle. It's on your shoulders. Like I can't express, like, you know, I don't know what motherhood feels like to y'all. You know what I'm saying? But it's something that y'all have that we can't have. We can never be a mother. So being the provider, being, you know, talked about in society as a statistic, being a creative. There's so many things that's against us already. So it's like, all right, when I'm dealing with something, you know, I don't want to put more on you or bring it to you to handle. It's just my plight, the plight of a, you know, black man. So I'm not going to talk about it, but I do think that it is important to be with a woman, helpmeet, you know, that can see that. You know, you've seen
without the man saying it, she needs to perceive it.
Well, listen, it would be nice if it was that way. I'm not saying all women are that way, but when you got a helpmeet, she know when something wrong. Just like when you got a man that's into you, he gonna see you, he can be like, nah, I know something's wrong.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it's important for the woman to acknowledge that and to, you know, talk about it instead of talking about what's not being done about it.
I have a thought on that.
So yeah, I've heard different thoughts on men and depression and emotional expression and all of that stuff. I agree with what she says, but I don't think that's it. I think that's just a piece of it, a tip of the iceberg. And I was making little notes while I was listening to it. I believe most men are wounded. Most men,
like before marriage, wounded.
We're all wounded.
Okay.
Men are wounded differently, though.
Okay.
As it pertains to this, you know, our mental health and our expressing ourselves and our emotions.
Okay.
We're told we can't cry, nor can we be down for too long. We can't really express ourselves like that. We're given a narrow field of options on how we can express ourselves.
Now I have a question. Is that from society or is that from home to home?
I believe it differs, but there's societal norms that have become, you know, we have to be strong and silent. Years ago, maybe like 20 years ago, I watched this sermon from a popular preacher, and it was called He-Motions. He-Motions.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
You saw that? Yeah. And he was saying, it was on this, and he was saying things like, you know, men have become masters at screaming silently, and only helpmeets who desire to be helpmeets can hear that that silent scream.
We got to do a T-shirt that says,
Yes.
"It's my desire to help."
Yes, I like it.
It's gonna be cute. Okay, he gonna make it. Okay.
So no, it's okay. I like that idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, now as we grow into adulthood with those wounds, we learn how to kind of walk with a limp a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
We learn how to. Yeah, I'm depressed, but hey. I believe I believe a lot of men are walking around with untreated depression.
Oh, that's
I believe
so
a
sad.
lot of men are
It hurts
walking
me. Yeah.
especially black men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Black men are walking around with untreated depression.
Yeah.
I believe that anger is one of the many emotions that are a byproduct of depression. And I believe the best helpmeets are adept at navigating through those different. It's not your responsibility. My emotions aren't your responsibility.
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, they're not a wife's responsibility, but it's also what you signed up for.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
So because I feel like I see both sides, right? I think communication is important. I think every fall of every marriage that goes wrong or goes amazing has to do, like, I feel like communication is at the root of it. Like, either you do it well or you ain't doing it that good, right? And so because women, you know, we are a helpmeet first, but then we have children. Some of us have to work. Some of us have 3, 4, and 5 children with different personalities and stuff like that. I think sometimes, you may know something is a little off with your husband, right? But it's helpful to have your husband to be able to be in touch with himself and be able to use those feeling words and just say, I just think that if a man came to his wife and said, "Baby, I am depressed,"
It would
that
go far.
it would go so far.
It would
as
snap.
opposed, it would. Okay, I get that. I understand depressed.
agree.
I understand the word.
Let's dig into that as
agree.
opposed to maybe a man expecting for she see me doing this or I'm not feeling seen or whatever. Well, consider that she may be have her mom hat on. She's trying to cook. She's trying to do her checklist things and that kind of thing.
Or
So-
deal with her own depression.
her own depression.
Her own
So,
issues.
Yeah, so it's not like she doesn't care, but just a simple word of communication is just helpful
I
because
agree.
the world in general is just so crazy.
messed
Like,
up.
just tell me.
I think that
No?
I think that what you're saying is still got another side to it, and part of the reason why men don't bring it. Everything that you just said is part of what we carry as well. We carry y'all in our heads. Like, we're like, you are a wife, you are a mother, you got this going on, your period's going on.
And now I'm
like-
sitting here depressed.
And now I'm sitting here depressed.
So I'm trying to care for you.
So listen.
that's true.
So I'm not gonna say something because I know you got a lot going on.
Nope.
And guess what? I don't want to come with one word because I want all of me to be dealt with. I don't want it to be in the midst of all this jump roping and double dutches you doing, I get to say, I'm depressed. And then you say, all right, I'll get back to you because I got the kids, I got the
No,
this.
I don't think she will say I'll get back to you. I think she's going to drop everything.
Go ahead.
I was going to say this. All right. I get both sides of it. The communication is key because
It is.
women think, our minds think a different. We have empathy. There's empathy there. You might
there.
not think that it's there, but it is. You know, we think about, or I can speak for myself, hey, my husband is down. I feel bad. Hey, I want to help him. I want to support him. I want to be there for him. But if I don't know how to be on my own, and he's not telling me, we're both missing the mark. So it has to be some type of way that we as women, if we have that desire, I think it comes from the desire, and I think it comes from the relationship with God. If our husband is not communicating something to us that we need to know, then we need to be seeking God about it.
I agree with that. But so communication is not just speaking.
Right. 80%
Right.
is unsaid.
Right.
20%.
Don't make
is
that
only
face
words.
like you got it.
Exactly.
We playing chess like that.
Let me get my pawns. Right. What you got? I got them queens in a pawn.
No, but I agree that the communication will go a long
it will.
way. Like a husband that could say, baby, I'm depressed. This is why I'm not performing how I need to perform. But also, can a helpmeet sense that? Like, communication is also comprehension and understanding and application, I believe. It's not just speaking.
Yep.
So I'm communicating with my body language. I'm communicating with my face. I'm communicating with lower levels of productivity and energy, if you know what I'm saying. You know, I'm communicating with all of those things. Now, do I have to speak? Sometimes men don't. That's a very, for some men, that's a very humbling thing to come to their wife and say.
Well, that sounds like pride in a way.
No, it's conditioning.
Relax. You're learning something right now.
And I can see why you say that, but think about what I said maybe like 5 minutes ago or a few minutes ago in the podcast, is that men have been conditioned from a very young age to look at crying as weakness, sadness as weakness, anger is pretty much the only acceptable emotion that we can display when we're disappointed. If we cry when we're disappointed, we get laughed at, called sissies or something like that. So as a woman, I believe that we can all work together. If you see your husband depressed, that might be your opportunity to lay off of him a little bit. Maybe not expect as much, the same way as, you know, a woman likes to feel like she has an understanding husband, especially around, you know, every week or so around
PMS time.
the month. In a month.
The week before,
Yes.
the week during, and a couple days after.
Yeah, so y'all
enough of bread
want
can play
that
that milk.
understanding, and I think men, if we're being honest, we want that understanding as well.
Okay. Go
I
ahead.
was just gonna say I like how he put this, and I think that it's, you know, a lot of what is done by women when we are experiencing things is y'all diagnose. You know, like what you said earlier. You said, "Oh, that's pride."
I said, sounds like it could be pride.
That's what the speaker do.
But you cannot
giving
do
pride.
that. You cannot. Y'all, let me tell y'all what y'all are doing when y'all do that. Y'all start with y'all little bricks with names on it. Y'all still building a wall of separation. Oh, this is this. This is that. Instead of sitting down and saying, "Hey, I'm your other half. I don't feel good when you don't feel good. Let's talk." Do you know how much like that works?
Okay, so tell them exactly what to say. Write this down.
Ladies down.
Yeah,
Well,
give it to
I mean,
them.
that's the whole thing. I think it's the whole podcast is not about being a helpmeet,
Right.
But this is
How do we do it
one-on-one how
together?
to help our men.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So
One-
what do
And
those
how
conversations?
I don't
we
want to
see
be
you?
diagnosed. I don't want, you know, Dr. Wife to hit me with it's A to Z and this, and I'm gonna get you a prescription because you need to handle that. So this is what I think works for me. You know,
Okay.
and can work in other homes as well. Just showing interest. It starts there. Cause like
I'm about to cry.
Steve said,
I
said,
agree.
like
I'm about to cry.
he's like
Okay, cry.
like
You can cry here. You can cry
That's why I got the shades on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but it's just showing that interest. Like, we know y'all got a lot to do.
Yeah.
But when you take the time to sit down with me in the midst of your busy day, you talk about energy. That gives, like, I feel connected. I don't feel alone. A lot of times we feel alone, not because of y'all, but because we're men. We operate different, and when we get out those doors, we're on our own. Regardless of what we got back at home, we doing whatever we doing outside for y'all. But we get back in here, we want that rib. We need that connection to feel like, hey, if I hurt, you hurt, or when I'm not well, you not well. And sometimes when the woman is moving around and just handling her handles, it's like, dang, I'm not a part of her handles. I'm not a part of your business. You know, and I feel like a staple. You know, I'm an importer. I didn't made the kids with you. You know what I'm saying? We didn't made this home together. Can I get some of that? You know what I mean? Just a little sit down. I would say that's the first thing to me. It's just that interest and a little sit down.
Okay, so with that sit down, what are the women saying? Like, hey, you haven't been how you used to be. Are you okay?
I think it's I love you.
I think it's
I love you.
more
How you doing?
You got a
reassurance.
reassurance.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I think
I mean,
it's
I know what to do. I'm just trying.
Right. We trying to pull it out.
Yeah.
Right? We're experts.
No, y'all not experts. We talking to them.
We definitely talking to them.
Yeah.
We're trying to school y'all. This is wife school.
This is for y'all.
Right.
Y'all listening? No, I think that sitting the man down and saying, "Hey, you're depressed," might be a little heavy-handed. Not to say that's what you said.
Yeah.
But a sit down full of reassurance, full of love, full of hey, if something is wrong, let me know. Let me let you know I'm here for you.
Okay.
We can talk about it. It's a safe place. I won't judge you.
Okay.
Whatever. And then turn around and really be that. Because
Right,
guess
do
what?
it.
Guess what? Sometimes the source of our depression is y'all. It is
Right.
something that y'all have done.
I don't believe that to be true.
Tell it.
Or not y'all, or maybe the condition of our marriage.
Yeah.
I think that's a
Yeah.
better way to put it.
Yeah.
And I believe if we are going to, I mean, just wives, be ready. Just be ready to be a help.
Be ready to help.
Not in the way. Just help me along the way. Not don't be in the way. Though.
Yeah. So I have a question, because some women be like, well, shoot, I need help too. Okay, now I know that's not y'all function, right? That is the role that God gave us. So I already know that. But sometimes women do need help, and sometimes women need help so they can get to helping y'all.
So you know what I got to say to that? I'd say that is true, but it's a reciprocal thing. It's about what I feel like. So much of our relationships and arguments is just what you don't feel like. I don't feel like apologizing.
I agree.
I don't feel
Yeah.
like so.
I don't feel like
oh,
doing
well,
that.
you can say pride, but I can't say pride.
Well, in this case, we're talking about us, so it's safe. But when you just talking about the male
Other
or female,
people.
then we diagnose it more. So I agree with what he's saying. It's probably between the couple that stops that. But what I would say is that so much of I remember being in situations where I needed something. But instead of going after my needs, I went after what you needed, which was an apology. That apology that I gave in the time where I needed whatever I needed the most turned you into what I needed. If we think like that, then we can make it.
Everybody
I
got to
think
bend a
I
little.
think that comes with selflessness and self-sacrificing.
Yeah.
I think when wives put their husbands first, it works, and when husbands put their wives first,
It works.
It works.
Yeah.
It starts to work.
that thing, baby.
It really starts to work, and I find that it all goes to the mindset. Like you said, I don't feel like it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to apologize because I'm right, and I'm not about to give in today, not another time.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
I just gave in
I
yesterday.
gave in yesterday. Right, I gave in. I'm not giving in. No, I'm not doing it today. I'm not doing this mess today.
Yeah.
But that's where the Holy Spirit and God comes in, where He has to come in and and convict your heart. I
Right.
mean, before we got here, we were in an argument,
Yeah.
and we know it was
Yeah, we
because
I was like,
we know it's because the enemy is just not
he mad.
happy
He mad.
about our conversation, our
know.
dialogue,
I
and
know.
things that are going on.
know.
And I was at a point where I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah.
And God is speaking to me like, well, what kind of wife are you being, and what
Yeah.
kind of example?
What kind of wife are you being?
Well, I'm trying to be a good wife, but I was mad. And there's times where you feel like you can't fix it, but what the difference is, and what I had to remember is that my husband has goodwill
There you
towards
go.
me.
I was just about to say
and
that.
I have goodwill towards my
She
husband.
introduced that to me.
And that
It's
changes
so important.
Yeah.
the whole dynamic
Yeah.
You
of it.
introduced that
Yeah.
concept to me in that way, and it's been helping me. There was a time when I didn't believe my wife had good intentions for me.
Yeah.
I think,
Didn't have a good will.
and I think
Right.
men think that.
Yeah,
It's
that we
easy.
out to
And
get
it makes me sad because
me
I
mad
don't
too.
think the wives feel like that.
Crystal,
and
you
I don't
always
know.
so Venus versus Mars.
Listen,
I think that it's got to be case
y'all-
by case.
Well, you guys are speaking on behalf of men and in general, and so I'm speaking on behalf of women in general. I don't genuinely think that women get into a relationship with a man to have ill intentions toward
Yeah,
them.
we don't.
I think we
We
love
don't.
our men, and our hearts are towards them and for them, and I think we miss things. I think there's a lot of other reasons, but in general, like he said, he really thought that she had ill intent towards him.
And that hurt my feelings.
it's
though.
like,
check
I was
this
like, man, what? Yeah.
This is going to be a controversial statement,
Yeah.
but not all men who cheat hate their wives or hate their spouse,
True.
hate their, You
Right.
can still have good intentions and
Wait a
just
minute, what?
do wrong things.
Oh, okay,
Really.
okay.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
do the wrong thing.
And so the signs show, or the more what's being seen more is
Might edit it.
what is wrong. You know what I'm saying?
What I just said.
What part? What you say?
No, man.
Okay, take the cheating part out.
No, but
Go ahead.
I just think that when we talk about intentions or good intentions, it's when we talk about arguments, it depends on what type of woman that you're with. When you can think that someone has bad intentions towards you, it's because of how they handle you when you are in the wrong.
I think fire with fire is awful. Eye for eye. The Bible, we know what the Bible says about that. That's not what love and how God desires us to be. But I do think there's a difference in someone doing something and a wife thinking it's a mistake versus a wife thinking, hey, this is a choice that you made. It was a bad choice. It made me feel a way. And perhaps if you felt how it felt, you would understand more to not make that choice.
I think that every couple has a little bit, like micro dose of bad intentions, moments.
Of course.
There are moments where
you do something on purpose.
My intentions are not good when I do
Right.
this.
Yeah.
And to be honest, just to throw my 2 cents in, I don't believe that teaching each other a lesson has a place in marriage.
Right.
And I can understand why. There have been times where Melissa has done that, where she'll say, you know,
No, she hasn't.
No, I'm good.
Say it louder.
I'm good in this podcast. You see how I'm good?
She's been invisible this whole time.
I'm good.
No, but there have been times when I've done that
Yeah,
to Melissa,
yeah.
where it's like, oh, you want to act like that? I'm gonna show you how I feel.
Yeah.
Oh, facts.
We all do it.
Yeah.
We all do it. We microdose it, and some people have had that has become the temperature of their
norm.
marriage.
Yeah, it's like, you're not
awful.
talking to me. Okay, I'm not going to talk to you.
And now we
Fine.
don't talk. Now we have a cold.
Literally,
marriage.
now 4 months have gone by.
And the longer you go,
the more
the
pride.
worse.
Yeah, it's okay for me to say pride builds up. Like, oh, well, who about to be in?
I'm not me. I'm
not a girl like me.
And then the thing to get you back together is like, I'm sorry.
No, it'd be like, you want some Chick-fil-A?
Right. Is you coming to me?
no,
Is you coming to the store or what?
Can you bring me a towel?
Yeah, it'd be the simplest thing.
Hey, we argued this morning, and she asked me for a towel.
I
I'm
did. I was like, well,
and they right there next to the shower. Get out, and
give
get
me a towel, please. Thank you.
it. I'll just play it.
And I want to know how you gonna go get that towel. You better get it gently.
Very
But no, I think it all comes down to me from what I hear.
I
'Cause
really like the good intentions.
it comes
man.
down to the good intentions, and it comes down to the heart.
Yeah.
And if you are selfish with the way that you think about how you feel, and you're not putting your spouse's feelings first, then it's a recipe for disaster.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a question. Do you guys think that you have to understand your spouse's feelings first before acting in a way that they want you to act? Is that what level of importance is that important at all?
Is understanding important?
Yeah.
Yes,
I
their
believe
feelings.
you cannot move from a conflict until there is understanding. I
do too.
believe
That's what we
I
want
do
to know.
too.
I believe
I do too.
Yeah,
I believe understanding is more important than an apology.
I agree.
It's understanding is more. I would rather you say
That
I
part.
understand you than I'm sorry.
That part, because
Yeah.
for me, if there's no understanding, it could happen 5 minutes later because you don't even know what the problem is.
Listen.
Like we need to talk about what the problem is so we can prevent it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry is like almost sometimes putting a Band-Aid. Like, what are you
Yeah.
sorry for
Sometimes
though?
I'm sorry makes it worse if you don't say it right. Sometimes
Yeah.
I'm sorry can make
I need to understand.
That's my fault. Like, I'm just like, sorry. Well, you take that.
Yeah, so
I'm like, no,
is
no,
your
no.
sorry usually like shut up? Not you know,
I
it
get
does
it.
have a little
Sometimes
shut up
it
behind
does.
it. Yeah.
It does. And
Yeah.
it does not make good for our relationship.
it
Yeah.
makes it actually
It fuels the-
exacerbates
yeah.
the problem. If I
Yeah.
can use a TI word.
Yeah.
It exacerbates the problem. It makes a bad apology makes it almost worse. Where I
Yeah.
would have just rathered you said, you know, I don't care how you feel.
And I'm that type
Yeah.
of person. Like, I'll be like, I'm not saying sorry till I'm sorry. And I'm probably not going to say sorry until I understand. So I'm trying to learn how it works best, you know, in my relationship, because, you know, sometimes he just like, no, just say sorry. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry, but I want to mean it. I want to be truthful to my core about my apology. I don't want to just give one.
I think people should find sorry in Christ. I think that's really
That's
the,
good.
the truth.
Sorry in
to
Christ.
me.
Expound on that.
Yes.
So because you find we are finite creatures. We are, you know, according to the Bible, you know, every good thought comes from God. And
Right.
and so that means our hearts are continuously evil at times, you know. And so to find sorry in yourself is to prove to yourself that you're, you know, at a level now. I think that that's not what I look at when I see the Bible is talking about us and apologizing. I don't always have to understand everything that Crystal is going through for me to be sorry that I did something to her. It's really about her being my person and me having this connection that I'm sorry that I broke. Now, you can break it down to me. You could tell me, you know, when you get ready. But for me, in this moment, I'm realizing the disconnect. It's like, man, this is the worst thing ever. Like, this is supposed to be my person, and I disappointed her. And whatever that means at this moment, I'm sorry for that. Because it's on me. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I think that it's not enough of that going on where we make it about being intellectual.
Tune in next week for part 2.